Meghan Markle once again has been in floods, and this is all down to the fact that she's been exposed, doesn't like it, and it's something that of course she tried very much behind the scenes to make sure that nobody could find this out. As ever, let me explain. Morning chums, nice to see you. Thank you so much as ever for joining me today, and welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Thank you, I genuinely mean that, for all your support for all the videos. You're all very kind, and I do enjoy making things like by royal appointment, and thank you again for the support with the Harry Ramsden's fish and chip shop. I did like, there's some sarky person at the end said, oh, the restaurant's empty, did they know you were coming? You think, oh, grow up. The thing is, you do look at these people and think, you went to the keyboard to write that. The mentality, you know what I'm saying? The mentality, if you don't have any, I've always been brought up that if you don't have anything nice to say nothing at all. Am I right, chums? But I would just say, as I say, Harry Ramsden's lovely, delicious, absolutely gorgeous. Yes, a little bit on the top side, but on the other side of it, if it's a treat, why not? Yeah, well, you can, because Rachel will have the money, you know what I'm saying? Somebody else who's not getting the money, though, is Meghan Markle, absolutely. You see, the problem that Meghan's got, and, it sounds unkind when you say this is, but the whole thing has been a disaster. Ever since what was the other thing, American Riviera Orchard or something, it's just been badly executed. And the problem that you have with somebody like Meghan is she won't listen to good advice, always knows best, always thinks she knows best. And on top of all of that, will basically tell you that, Meghan's in charge. As we now know, she likes to be introduced each time she comes into the room. And the problem that you have with that is you have to know what you're doing in this business. Meghan clearly doesn't know what she's doing. And the bigger issue with that is, the people around her, she just wants to keep at arm's length. When she sat down recently with Bloomberg Originals, they were very annoyed, I can tell you, that this is a show, right, all about business entrepreneurial skills. And the problem is that what you've got to do is when you sit down with a show like that, and I've hosted many of those sort of shows, you need the facts and figures. You need to say, well, what did you start with? What was your investment? Where were your investors? What did you go to the investors with and say, this is it? Basically, this is Harry's money. Right? Nobody's invested in this. Nobody came forward. Remember, Meghan Markle could not get a CEO. This is because it's Meghan's way or the highway. And, again, not knocking her if you know what you're doing. When you look at people like, whether you like Jamie Kern-Lena or not, as a business person, she clearly knew what she was selling and what she was doing. She had a good idea because of what she got, the sort of redness on her skin. And of course, when you look at somebody like, say, Emma, her other friend, genius, because, yes, she got in with the Kardashians, and yes, she married well, you can say all of those things, but she had to have it. When you watch Emma on camera, you know that there's an authenticity there. When you watch her with the children making putting the table dressings together, you can see the kids really like her. I don't know whether they wouldn't, but there's a bond there. There's an authenticity, and that comes through when you're selling a business. Emma just making the potatoes and doing beautiful roasties by her, but can I just say, by the way, Emma, it comes out. Meghan Markle is a fake, and the problem is the fakery is now seeping through into the brand. And I'm not being unkind, whatever these squaddies and nutters want to say. The fakery comes from the fact that, first and foremost, we realise that it's not her house. So when she's going around the kitchen and wandering around the garden, I'm not saying it should have been in her house, but what I think should have been was a bit more authentic, right? Now, the problem where Meghan has gone nuts, and this is, from an excellent source behind the scenes, is a company called Brand Intelligence have done some digging. And really what they've come up with is a figure of something around like, she's recently had a sort of visit to the website of 196,000. That's paltry. When they've pitched her against somebody like Gwyneth Paltrow, who's had just shy of nearly 1 million going to her. Now, in defence, I would say that Goop is far more known and far more successful. But equally, I would say that no other brand has had as much exposure to the masses than Meghan Markle's as ever with Love Meghan. The TV show, everything attached, it should be up there. So what's gone wrong, and why is Meghan fizzing? Well, what you have to remember is that behind the scenes, things are crumbling quite badly. The reviews of the jam have been less than nice. And the thing is, you can't just go away from saying, you're picking on me. The jam looks like slop, and it's not good enough. You should have looked at that and said, will make this better. You should have gone on camera instead of just wandering around gardens picking flowers and all that sort of stuff. You should have addressed these issues, saying we've got shipping problems, but don't worry, I'm on it, I'm the CEO, I'll make sure that this works. The alleged candles with the wicks and all that sort of stuff, I told you I've got colleagues who had that similar thing. She should have gone on camera and said, you know, light my fire, I don't know what's gone wrong, but we'll fix it, don't worry. Every good brand, if you remember, for people of a certain age, do you remember the guy that did the Remington shaver? Remember that? That really stuck in because he banged it straight at you. He let you know exactly what was, what he was doing. What Meghan's allowed by holding back all of that information about certain things with the brand and how it's, played out, is that she's made herself look stupid. And by hiding behind, the sort of brand herself and not addressing the issues, it can only get worse. According to that source, she was bereft when these figures came out. It doesn't matter about putting a leather bookmark inside your jams or your honey, inside your friend's shop. That's not going to the masses. You want the masses to buy into the brand of Meghan Markle. It wouldn't take much to shift brand conception. It would be very easy to do it, but it all starts with the person. And it doesn't matter how much more money Harry wants to chuck into this. It's not enough to make it successful. The reality is, very quickly, Meghan is trying to pivot now to beauty. As she keeps pointing out, fashion and beauty. And what this will be an experiment, and a little bit like the podcasting and the Netflix show. The pivotal word that she'll use is, we're pausing while we take a breather. It's been a busy year. We're going to step back and see exactly how we can make the brand better. I don't wish this on anybody because it's not it's not easy, should I say, running a business. It really isn't. But when you've had this exposure, you should have thought, this is a golden opportunity. But as many people are realizing, she's let many golden opportunities. She's gone from the balcony of Buckingham Palace to literally the ground floor of a coffee shop in California. Not many people fall that high and make the same mistakes all along the way. And tears or no tears, Meghan's finding, of course, that even the honey is not as sweet tasting as she'd hoped with her many devoted fans. It's the cost, it's the packaging, and it's the, execution of this brand that is to blame. And it all comes down to one person, Meghan Markle. Neil Shaw, Kensington, London.